welcome to the Ultra Running Sam podcast. So quickly, our sponsors. We are proudly sponsored by Yugoku caps. You've seen me wearing them on the podcast. You can get the discount codes from me, send me a message. I'll send them to you. They're floating around. We're also sponsored by Phoenix head torches. Same thing goes. If you're after a discount code, just get in touch. There are there on the web, but if you want them personally from me, I will send them to you. And also, finally, we are proudly sponsored by Home Trails. So Home Trails is my YouTube series interviewing famous trail runners from hopefully around the world at some point. In the UK at the moment, where we interview them on the trail in the home trails. You understand what it is, don't you? You've listened to the show. That's hopefully turning into a bit of a brand, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, on with the actual show. Okay, folks, so we're recording just a little preamble just before I let Greg in. So just wanted to sort of let you know what this podcast is about. So you know that I don't like to shy away from controversy. So that's not the main reason I've got Greg on. So obviously Greg's been a guest before, and I wanted to talk to him about Golden Trail and everything. But I heard a podcast by somebody else where Francesco Pupi was interviewed, and he said a few things about the Golden Trail and how he disagreed with the way that it was being run, and how next year all the iconic races are going to be abandoned, basically. So I reached out to Greg and just sort of said, "Is this true?" So he said, "No, not strictly true." And I said, "Do you want to come on and sort of talk about it?" So he said he will come on. We'll talk about Golden Trail this year and next year, and then we'll see if I can sort of price some information out of him about what actually is happening and whether it is controversy or whether it's just sort of sour grapes from somebody who's not doing the races this year. So okay, so I'll pause the record and then I'll let him in shortly. Yes, we are recording. So welcome back to returning guest Greg Vollet.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for having me here.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to have you back on. And before we were recording, I opened with bonjour, but it is now bonsoir. So it's around 6 p.m. in
Yeah.
whereabouts exactly are you in France?
I'm at 100K from Paris actually, and it's the time of aperitif. So let's go fast.
Well, I also said that I'm drinking a beer, but it is a zero. So, and you very very professionally, you said that you've got one ready, but you were going to wait until after the
Exactly.
podcast.
It's in the fridge waiting for me.
Yeah, excellent. Well, mine's been in the fridge for a few days, so it's nice and cold. But it is a zero, so it will not cloud my judgment, and I won't ask you any questions that I shouldn't ask you. Excellent. So obviously you've been on the show before, so people do know who you are. But just for sort of new listeners, could you sort of explain your role and your involvement with the Golden Trail series and everything?
Yeah, sure. I'm the director of the Golden Trail War series, and I created this series in 2018.
Yeah, so it's been going for a while now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's we crossed the COVID year with only one race, but it was a stage race in the Azores, and it was beautiful. But yes, we are trying to disrupt a little bit the sport, to make some tests, to try different things, and to develop the sport. This is our main goal, and also to create a trail running show,
Mm.
some a format that is a little bit different of what we have seen until now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very like viewer friendly format, isn't it? Like with the way that the races are set out and the places they are, it's very much geared towards people being able to spectate like physically there, but also sort of in the media side of things, it's easier to sort of keep watch what's going on with the races, isn't it? That was obviously intentional.
Yeah, so there is two different format. There is the historical format, and this is, for example, Sierzinal. And there is the flower format that we are developing. And this is more to create a show. So at the start finish area, we are creating a big fan zone with a big screen, a DJ, big atmosphere because we are giving bells and caps and fumigène uh, to create some smoke, color smoke. And it creates really a very nice atmosphere to support and energize the athlete. And to give you an example, at the final in Locarno a few weeks ago, all the people were able to see the athletes 7 times without moving. And the athletes are never on the same trail. It means that you must imagine that it's a kind of a trefoil with 4 lifts, and where the athletes are just passing through the fan zone after each lap. So it was 4 different laps, and each time it was a huge atmosphere. Yes, in through the fan zone.
Yeah, it seems to be the format that's being favoured now, doesn't it? For sort of television viewing and everything. So I've heard people talk about this format being very applicable to like when with the Olympics and everything, when that rolls around and trail running becomes an Olympic sport, or at least begins to that process. Are you conscious of that? The fact that it's that will translate really well to people watching it at home during the Olympics.
Yes. So um, 2 years ago, I changed my mind. Before, I was against the trail running at the Olympic game. And I was trying to say, no, if trail running is going to the Olympic game, we will lose our soul. And the the IOC or whatever will manage it will certainly follow what the mountain bike has been done by the past. And the trail running will be closer to cross country than what it is today. So I was always answering interviews that I was against the Olympic game. And 2 years ago, I realized that being against the Olympic game, it doesn't help the sport at all.
Mm.
I was thinking, instead of waiting what they will do with the sport, let's take the opposite way and showing what will be the best compromise for the athletes, for the media, for the TV, and for the Olympic game. So now we are able to show on TV, on Eurosport, on live, a full trail running show between 2 to 2 hours 30 with a big density of athletes, with suspense until the finish line because there is no big gaps between the athletes. And it's fast, it's athletes taking risk, having falls. We are trying to still uh, have 4 races runnable and 4 races more technical, and try to um, answer the request of different runner profile. But the final is always maybe a little bit harder to create the difference. And we believe that now we are able to have a good audience. I will give you some numbers if you want.
Mm,
At the final of Noli last year, I don't have the audience of the last final because it's too early. But last year in Noli, we were able to reach 6 millions of views,
wow.
knowing that it was 2 days of live coverage. Because on Saturday it's the woman and on Sunday it's the men. So we believe that we are on the right path.
Mm,
I'm working also for the Olympic game to have some lobbying through different strong companies and see if it will be possible in Los Angeles or if it will be for the next one.
mm, wow. That's it's 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 great the way that the sport is going as far as like being able to watch it because obviously this podcast is all about ultra running and the Golden Trail is obviously sub ultra, um, but people love to watch races, don't they? So they'll literally sit and watch like Western States, like the live stream for that for 30 hours. That
Mhm.
lasts, doesn't it? So, well, it's longer than 30 hours because that's like the cutoff, but it's the before and the after. So people really want to see trail running. They want to see it so badly they'll stay up all night and watch it through the night. Um, but this is kind of like a new thing, isn't it? Like sort of changing. So rather than sort of you're almost creating a sport, aren't you, by creating this format? You're creating something new that hasn't been seen before. It, if people sort of criticize that you're sort of changing running too much, or are you aware of that, or do you not, or you not bothered, or you take that into account the way that the sport has been changed so it is sort of more user friendly and media friendly?
Yes, we will always have people who will criticize because it's new,
Mm,
and people like something that is always where they can relate it to, Uh, our goal is to develop the sport, and we are helping many athletes to compete on our series. And thanks to the Golden, most of them uh, became professional athletes because of the Golden, because
mm,
of the visibility that we are giving on social media, but also on TV.
mm,
And today, me too, I love watching the Ultra. Me too, in the middle of the night, I will open my phone, you know. But here, we are talking about a core community
mm,
who will be able to follow a race during 30 hours, passionate people. This is not our target. Uh, our target is to reach a very large audience of people who don't know trail running today.
mm,
When I tell you that we reach 6 millions of people on Eurosport last year at Noli, we believe that some of these people get inspired
mm.
and start trail running.
Yeah.
This is a potential new consumer for the brands,
Mm,
and this is that will uh, help the sport to grow as
mm,
well.
yeah.
One of our benchmark is the biathlon during the winter, where you have millions of spectators in front of the TV every weekend to follow it because it's a show. It's a
Mm,
and you have a suspense till the end. So Eurosport have seen a big potential in our series and will continue to collaborate with us and helping us to grow as well in the coming years.
mm. So that when you talk about the numbers of like 6 million viewers, is that was that for the series or was that for the final last year?
It was just for the final.
just for the final. Yeah, so to put that sort of in perspective, um, I always look at the numbers like we were talking about, like for example, Western States and how people obsessively watch that live stream over like that weekend. But that's only, I think they peak at like 30,000 people watching that online. So, and that is obviously Western States is like the, you know, the biggest ultra, you know, one of the biggest ultras in the world other than UTMB. And people are obsessed with that race. So that sort of shows, doesn't it, the comparison of how many people you're actually reaching with this format. So it's many, many, many times more, isn't it? The people that want to watch it. So so you obviously feel that there's a thirst out there for people that want to see this type of format then.
Yes, so Eurosport is releasing it in 73 countries live in 23 different languages.
Wow.
So you can imagine that it will reach, of course, much more than just having a YouTube channel.
Mm,
And in addition, we are also working with a broadcaster who is collaborate with 23 additional TV channels around the world, uh, in China, in Africa, in the US, on being sport, for example. So and also a platform. So we are not only doing live TV. We have also a race recap after
mm,
each of our race. And we have also a kind of a TV series
mm.
inspired by Drive to Survive, who is working super well. So the name is Chasing Dreams.
Yes, I watched. So before we recorded, I was just watching. So it's the newest one. So season 4, episode was one, isn't it? So I sat and watched that and saw that. Even though I've been keeping tabs of the races as it's gone on over the summer, but it was great to see them all sort of put together, and you
Yes.
can sort of see the drama that's sort of unfolded as the season has gone on and all the races have happened. So is how are people responding to that series then?
Yeah. Oh, I think that we are creating a new kind of content in trail running, and we are much more TV friendly with our content. So we are able also to explain trail running to people who don't know what it is as a sport, and reaching a lot of people. Um, so chasing dreams, for example, you can find it as well in the airplane, in many different
Oh,
flights.
okay.
Yeah, we are distributed on Amazon. We are on a lot of different platform, and it's reaching. Just Chasing Dreams last year was more than 10 million views.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good. That is pretty good. That's amazing. So it was great sort of reliving all the moments and all the things that happened over the races this year. What's been your sort of highlights of the season as it's gone on with the series? What stood out to you as sort of, think it made you think this is why we do it?
Well, as a director of the series, I would say that it was our first step in Asia this year.
Mm,
It was not that easy, and it was a risk as well
mm,
to go there and not knowing if many athletes will come and how they will respond to this opening continent. But we have seen that many brands are interesting to promote their brands through
mm,
athletes in Asia, because it's one of the biggest market in the
yeah.
world. And so having Japan and China on the map is very important for all the brands. So we have seen a good reaction from the athletes, and it was a success.
Mm,
So we will go again there next year. And after, of course, this year we have seen sprint to the finish.
mm.
on many races, Sierzinal between Kilian and Philemon,
Mm.
Headlands in San Francisco between Eleusin and Philemon again, Mammoth with Eleusin and Patrick.
Yeah, the controversial one.
Yes, yes, and at the end, it creates a big, big communication, you know, because people are really living the race till the end, whether there is a drama or whether it's a crazy race.
Mm,
And I think that this is bringing a lot of attention because the number of reach that we were able to do on social media with this kind of videos was just amazing. Uh,
mm,
in at the final, we were reaching more than 8 million people just at the final on
yeah.
just on social media.
Mm,
So we are having a really good number who show us that we are on the right path.
mm. Yeah, I particularly loved all of the coverage of that final battle with where with the infamous elbow, and was that Mammoth Trail Fest
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
So but what I thought was great about that is so it caused lots of conversations on social media about, who was in the right, who was in the wrong. And I obviously I'm British, so I don't come from a fell running background. I'm purely an ultra running background, but I know a lot of British people were just like, well, he just took the racing line. But I thought the great thing about the coverage of that was the fact that you'd got multiple shots of it from different angles. So
mhm.
there was no like question over what actually had happened because everybody could see from every single angle. It was almost like when you're watching like football, Premier League football, and you VR and you get to see every angle of it, and then you can make your own mind up. And I just thought it was great that people were on one side or they're on the other side. And for me, it was just, you could tell that it was just the cadence of his arm was going and it didn't change at all. He didn't stick his elbow out. He didn't barge into him. It's just, he carried on, kept the line that he had. And I think that started a conversation. And obviously that would be like great media coverage for you guys, wasn't it? But that is what people tune in for those kind of races for, is it to see drama like that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, of course. And so we were doing our race recap, and it was the live, and at this moment during the live, it was on a drone shot.
Mm.
And when done the race recap, we show a little bit of the images, but not the full action. And then it was growing and growing the conversation. And we were waiting. We were waiting that people continue to talk, and we wait 24 hours. The following day,
You
then
did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
yes, then we launched the action video, who you were able to show as a close-up
Mm.
that it was just, of course, the natural way to go. And I would say that if Patrick was passing on the left, he was
Mm.
winning the race.
Yeah. Mm.
He was
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has been a mistake from him to try to.
He picked the wrong side, didn't he? He picked
Yes,
the wrong side. Mm.
but yes, and in addition, it was me who was on the mountain bike filming just behind them
Really?
that moment. So I was able also to take the decision very quickly because I was just 1 meter behind them.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you are the race director, aren't you? So
yeah. After there is it's Tim Tollefson who is the race director. Me, I'm
yes,
the
sorry, yes, yeah. Mm.
race director. And at the end of the day, it's his race and he take his own decision.
Mm.
So of course, we are discussing together, to take the right decision and try to have different advices as well.
Mm. But I suppose, with you being so close physically, you were probably the best person to make the call on that, weren't you?
Ah, yes, for me it was clear, and I was able to talk to Elouzine and Patrick right after the finish line because yes, I was just there to film.
Because there was a bit of the, at first when they first crossed the line, there was a little bit of backwards and forwards between those two, wasn't there? And then
Yes,
obviously,
Patrick was upset, of course,
mm,
because
yeah,
he was so close to win, and then he was thinking, well, it's because of this that I didn't win. Well, first it was a race of 27K. It's just you have more than 100 meters, to create the difference. And then I really believe that if he was going on the left side, he was winning. It's a shame. It's a shame. We will not redo the story, but yes, after when he have seen the images that I was able to show him directly on my GoPro, then he say, "Yeah, okay,
mm,
I see that I should have gone on the left." Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then they both of them very publicly afterwards, like commended each other, didn't they? So just to make sure that everybody sort of knew that there was no hard feelings between them, they both separately posted
Yes.
to say, they respected the other one and the decision was the decision and everything.
They, they've done it on their own. We were not asking them to do it, but I found that it was very well done,
Mm,
by both of them. And
yeah.
I was very happy of the end of this story. Yes.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. The fact that, you know, it's nice, it's reassuring to know that they sort of did that off their own back and they weren't sort of pressured by the series to make like a public apology. They did that because, they're sportsmen and they knew that they had to treat each other in a sportsmanlike way. And I think that's really good for the sport as well, isn't it? Because if they hadn't said anything, then maybe the conversation would have carried on and it could have developed into something a bit more, it could have carried on being heated and the discussions. And we don't need any more controversies in ultra running, do we, when there's things happening all the time anyway?
Yeah, yeah. No, no, but it's a kind of drama also that people like,
Yeah,
and it becomes viral very quickly. So
yeah.
for
Very good.
us, it's a kind of gold content.
Yeah, that's it. Golden content from the Golden Trail. Amazing. So, how did for you then? How did the series this year pan out? Did it pan out in the way that you expected it to? With with who won? Obviously Joyce and Luzine. Yeah, they weren't favourites, were they to begin with? How's it sort of panned out in your opinion? How the series panned out this year?
Well, we had an issue in Poland this year because the weather was really not let us to do the race. It was a thunderstorm, lightning in the mountain. It was becoming really too dangerous. So the rescue company of the park decided to stop the race after 8 kilometers for the woman, and the men didn't start it.
Mm,
So it changed a little bit the rules among the year, and if we were keeping the 4 races among the 8 plus the final, maybe the result was a little bit different, but it would have been not fair for the ones who was starting just at Sierzinal.
mm,
Was expecting to do the 4 races of Sierzinal, Poland, the US. So I think the decision that I had to take at that moment was the right one, and it allow also some athletes to continue the series while they wanted to give up in the middle because uh, for good result is difficult.
Mm,
So, it give us also a good learning for next year, and where we will follow the three best result out of the eight plus the
right. Okay. So what happened this year is informed the rules for next year then.
finals. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I suppose that's just like a natural progression as the series roll on every year. You're gonna have things that come up, aren't you?
Yeah. We are trying to adapt the rules as much as possible to the feedback of the athletes as well. So we are doing some meetings during the year, and also sending them a survey and to analyze a little bit all the answer to before to work on the following year rules.
Yeah. Yeah. So things just develop as time goes on, but for the better, obviously. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Um, so as far as like next year's concerned, then, so obviously this year there's been, all the classic ones, Zagama, Mont Blanc Marathon, Ciesenol, and then obviously like going over to America and those ones over there. How compared to this year, how different will 2025 be for the Golden Trail World Series?
Uh, we had to make a different calendar next year because of the World Championship. It will happen end of September, and this is normally when we are in the US. And of course, there is the UTMB beginning of September too. So it would have been impossible for the athletes to follow the UTMB races and the Golden races plus the World Championship. So I decided to not put any races in September and to move all at the beginning of the year.
Wow.
So we will start April 20th in Kobe, again in Japan. The following week, we will be in China with a new race, not in altitude, as last year. Then end of May, so around May 20th, normally to be confirmed, but we should be in Italy. The following week, it will be the classic Zegama. June, around, we'll go to the US in June, around June 20th in California. And the following week, it will be a surprise. But
I can figure out what that surprise is going to be.
oh, it's nice to keep a surprise in the calendar. But it's nice. It's
Yeah.
yes. And then July will be off for everyone to recover and prepare well the two first weekend of August, where we will do Austria plus Sierzinal behind. And then we will move directly to the final in October.
Right. Okay.
So the series will be very
Right.
dense
Yeah.
contest, but it was the only way to have this September free.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it, now? Because the series has come under a bit of criticism about making athletes make the choice between doing like the world championships and UTMB and having to make that choice. But now, if they plan their calendar right, they can do whatever they want, can't they?
Yes, and our relation now is much better with World Athletics, with UTMB, and we are doing some meetings all together to try also to work on a common way and a little bit more a clever way than before when everyone was working on his own.
Mm,
It's nice that we are having this touch point and think also ahead for a global sport respecting a little bit all the main series and races.
Mm, yeah, that's brilliant. That we can all everyone can coexist together, and
Yeah,
nobody feels any pressure to sort of choose one thing over another. That's
that's the goal. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so our plans, or is everything going to plan so far as next year is concerned, or is there still things that you still need to confirm before then?
Yes, the final is not confirmed yet. So that's the only race that where we are still in negotiation and potentially searching, but
Mm,
all the rest of the calendar has been confirmed.
yeah, come and do it in the UK. Do it in England.
Yeah, but I was asking Dom to see to tell me which race can we do in the UK, etc. And it was his answer was just not at the right moment, but we were close to go in
Mm,
the UK next year. I
yeah.
hope we'll go because I really love all the Lake District area and also
Mm,
Scotland. Uh,
yeah.
so, but yeah, I hope we'll be back
Yeah.
there.
There's definitely some challenging routes in the UK. Yeah, that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, but there is you have beautiful races there. Really, yeah, I like it a lot.
yeah, excellent. Right, I look forward to seeing a Golden Trail World Series race in 2026 then.
Yes, I hope. Honestly, I hope. It's UK is an important country, important market as well for the brands. So it definitely need a stop there.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. Well, I'll look forward to that in the future then. So as promised, I said I wouldn't keep you too long so you can get to your beer. So so I appreciate you coming on, Greg, and sort of giving us an update on, how the series has gone this year and, and the goals for next year and there's the possibility that I might be in the US in June for some filming, so maybe our paths will cross at some point
You
next
will
year.
be in for the Western State.
Yeah, so I'm possibly going out before Western States, like for the a couple of weeks before to do some filming. So I've got my own little YouTube series that I've started to do mini documentaries about trail runners. So like called Home Trails, and I go and visit a trail runner and I interview them, sort of sat down in person, and then I interview them while we're running together as well, and I kind of merge them together. So I've done a couple of UK runners. So I've done Jasmine Paris and
Ah,
Jack Scott, who won the spine race. And I've got a few other English runners that I'm sort of tying up with like towards the end of this year and in the new year. And then my goal is to go out to the US, and I've got a couple of people that have agreed already. So David Roach has tentatively agreed that I could go and interview him. So even if I only do sort of two or three people, it'll be worth the trip to go out there and
yeah, yeah.
interview them. And I want it to finish. I want to end up at Western States, basically. That's because I love that race so much. So I want to go back and see that. So
If you are there 1 week before Western State, we will certainly meet then.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. That sounds good. Right, I'll hold you to that. Okay. So thanks for coming on, Greg. I appreciate you giving up your time and I hope you enjoy your beer.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, and enjoy yours as well.
Cheers. Thanks, Greg. Talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.